What's up? It's Andy. I feel like at the end of a night like last night that you just start panicking. You lose like you need me to show up and be like, no. Relax. Last night, that's the game one ruckus I was talking about the previous night. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the second night of the playoffs, I treated it like it wasn't game one. I should have taken no sides last night. Because once again, just like last year, it doesn't change what I think is going to happen in any of those series. I know you're panicking. I know you just can't believe it. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they turned on playoff mode. Oh, but they just didn't turn on playoff mode last season when they lost 5-0. My pick that I showed up to the channel with lost 5-0 in their opening game versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. I told everybody to relax. Nobody believed me, but at least at that time, they had an excuse. They didn't know about the sniffs. They didn't know how I see like pool shots 4 games ahead. That was a bad loss by Toronto, but I can assure you, I can absolutely assure you, the massive loss in that game was dealt to Tampa. They lost Victor Hedman, and they lost Eric Ciernak. We will see their statuses. But regardless, even if they were both fully healthy, this is just the 100% opposite of what we saw last year. Toronto played like garbage, and Tampa maybe because they are underdogs now, and they're not as good as they used to be, and they did blow a bunch of game ones. They had to come in there with a great road performance. That's what they did. It doesn't change my opinion at all. So many of those games, 4 road teams lost, or won last night. 4 home teams lost. The Western Conference top seed lost. The defending Cup champs lost. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who were a top 5 Cup favorite all year, they lost. It's a ruckus game one night, but when you have a night like that, it presents opportunities. It presents opportunities such as taking the Avalanche. If you were one of these people, you're angry because you couldn't take the Avalanche. You didn't believe me the whole time. You didn't take them for the division. You missed out on that. You didn't take them for the Western Conference. Well, I got news for you. They're back up to over like plus 320. They're down 1-0 in the series against Seattle. The series is still minus 140 for Colorado. So it's not like they're underdogs. They're still favored in this series. And I just want to remind you, they came out of their home 2 games to start, or against St. Louis last year, 1-1. Most of their losses last postseason came at home. They lost 1 road game all postseason. You should not even sweat at all. That money puck win-a-meter was tilted all the way on Colorado's side. Hit a couple of posts. Uncharacteristic turnover by Taves. Manson's first game back. Lehkonen's still getting his feet wet. I would not even remotely worry. So what I think you should do is take Edmonton to win their series. Colorado to win their series. Parlay those together. You really think one of them's going to be upset? Notice, I didn't say include Vegas in there. That's a weird series. But as far as Edmonton and Colorado, you should take them to win those series. Combine them, that's a plus money little bet there. That, you know, when you have a bad night, you make them pay you back for it. So the both of them, and yes, I still am very confident that the Leafs are going to win that series. That's just a little wake-up call for them. And I would not worry so much. I know all of Toronto worried. I know all that stuff. Vasilevsky is miles better. But they just don't have the horses in Tampa this year. And if you remove Hedman and Ciernak, that series is over. Remember, the Islanders beat Tampa in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's relax. Another reason you should relax is because you can still go to Bet365. You would have relaxed last night if you took advantage of this promotion. Bet $1 and you get 200 in free bet credits as long as you're a new user, over 21, and located in a state or province where sports betting is permitted. If you're in one of those states that has Bet365, check. Go to the App Store, check, download it, and if you can't be using it, there'll be big exclamation points like, it would be like that game Operation. What a wacky game that was. We're going to put these little bones in a board game and you're going to be picking them out. You know, I always used to say this. You know, this may not be suitable for this video, but hey, you got to be over 21 to gamble. So if you're going to be over 21 to gamble, you should be over 21 watching this video. I always thought, you know what? I don't think I should say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I know you. Okay. I'm going to say it. You know how I'll say it on my Instagram story. I don't want to say, what about if King OddsShopper sees this? What is this guy talking about? He already talked about teenagers having sex for the first time yesterday. He can't go deeper than this. So I will tell the joke and reference on my story. But I don't even know what was this leading into? What the hell was this leading into? Well, let's get on to these Wednesday bets. You had those home losses game one. I told you as the series takes shape, the previous games and the way the series takes shape will lend a little, they'll give you little hints. You know what? Let me just say right away, I like Rupe hints. They're going to leave you some hints for Rupe hints. I do like Rupe hints. He really looked great. He rang one off the post in overtime on the power play, did score a goal. I like his over 2.5 shots on goal and a point in that game. But that also means I like Dallas. You're talking about a team that lost on their home ice, and if they lose that next game, that is an incredibly difficult series to win. So you usually have a desperation disparity. Obviously, the Wild are going to be ready. The Wild are going to play. But that home team, after they lost that first game, they usually give everything they have, which is why I'm going to take the Dallas Stars to win this one. Usually when you get that desperate team, they get a lot of shots to the net. And I will take the over on Gustafsson saves. Anything, let's say, I'm hoping they put it at 28.5. I'll even go 29, over 29.5. But I like taking the goalie. You saw this with Sorokin on night one. It would have happened with Shesterkin if the New Jersey Devils weren't exactly what I feared they would be, and why I told you earlier in the year, they're frauds just like the rest of them. They looked like a bunch of kids. It looked like you took a bunch of kids from the local rink and put them in the men's league. The Rangers are not a bully team. Look at their offense. Look at their players. And they bullied the Devils around. So either the Devils are going to learn how to play playoff-style hockey real quick, or they're going to find themselves with one goal in a couple more of these games. Because did you see Shesterkin? I don't trust inexperienced teams. That's all you need to know. So the Dallas Stars are not an inexperienced team. I will take them to bounce back, win this one, over on Gustafsson saves, shots on goal for Hintz, and a point for Hintz as well. And another team who needs to bounce back. They lost game one last year. They showed us they can lose game one against this team, win the series in the long run. And it feels like LA's almost happy to get out with a split. Edmonton controlled the majority of that game. But what I really know in this game is that you're going to get a hell of an effort for Connor McDavid. He didn't litter the score sheet in the last game. It was more of a Draisaitl game. I'm going to take the over 1.5 points for Connor McDavid. I will once again take the over 3.5 shots on goal for Connor McDavid. And if you can, on Bet365, where you're taking advantage of that great promotion, pair the over 3.5 shots on goal or the point, or you're probably going to do both, I know you. And pair that with an Edmonton Oilers win. By the way, did you see those early goalie pulls? The 4 minutes left goalie pull in Colorado, but then they took a penalty, which meant they had to put the goalie back in. The Vegas early goalie pull. Now just flip that. If we take one of these favorites on a night that they win, maybe like tonight, don't be scared to rip a -1.5, -2.5 in addition. Not just that, but in addition to supplement the winnings. I'm telling you, the early goalie pulls are going to happen, and they really haven't adjusted yet. But I saw it. I saw it. It's happening. The Devils game, right? It was 4-1 with 2 minutes left. Yeah, pull them again, 5-1. And that's why some of these over-unders are real tricky. One that probably isn't so tricky is this Islanders-Hurricanes game. I saw that I think BetMGM set it at 5. On the virtue of empty netters alone, like if it's 2-1, you can get 2 empty netters and get it to 5. But I obviously, I'm going to go back to what I did last playoffs. I was a little hesitant before game one, just because the last time I saw Carolina play at home with Ronta, they lost game 7 to the Rangers, and then there was no Svechnikov, Pacioretty. I wanted to see how it happened. I wanted to see how Sorokin looked. And Sorokin, even though Sorokin looked good, and Bronta did not. It's another home win for the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's just something that we took every single time they had a home game after we saw them win like the first two, and we were rewarded for that. They lost that Game 7. They went right back to winning at Game 1. I'm going to take Carolina in Game 2 at home. You can combine it with the under 7.5, because if you look at the totals in this game, that will bring it down to like minus 105. And I think maybe you shouldn't be scared to do the puck line under 6.5. That will give you money. And I know this sounds crazy. Throw $15 on minus 2.5, under 7.5. What do you want me to say? It's the empty netters. That's what I'm trying to forecast. And because they're shutting down that top line, it always is a little scary, but we saw the stall glued to the top line. I'm going to go against Bo Horvat to get a point. If you had the faith to do this against the Bruins last year, like Pasternak and Bergeron, Marchand, they weren't getting points. When the games are in Carolina, they're just not really conceding goals. The one goal the Islanders had was a lucky trickler, and 5-on-5, that stall lines against them, so I'll go against Bo Horvat to register a point. And the other game, I can honestly say I don't want to. Boston, Florida. Is that Boston sickness still lingering? I'm still kind of staying away from that one. You want to double up on the Rat? You want to see that Rat get back on the score sheet? I bet you he does. If you want, you can do that. But that is what I have for you here on this Wednesday. I'm still upset at myself that I couldn't tell you that joke. You know, if the people at OddsShopper see this, just know I spared you. I spared you. Oh, my God, did he just say that? But that's what I got my podcast for. So make sure you check that out, the You're Still Here podcast with me, Andy Francis. Come over to my social media and, you know, you can check that out. I will tell you what I was talking about. You can get some extra sniffs there. I give them out every night. And I also have my sniff drip. But I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. I'll see you then.